Welcome to Essentials.tf, I'm TurboTabs. I'm joined with Ben PL and J Max Chill. We're all a bunch of merry LAN team coverers today, as it's going to be the RGL LAN here in Philadelphia. Ben, so much has happened already, and we haven't even gone live.
Yeah, this is a very weird scenario, and I've got to say, I have not actually seen this happen ever before, but things have happened, specifically in the game we are about to cover. So we can see on the screen, we've got pick bans for Mama's Boys against GlobalClan, but the game has already started. They played about 8 minutes on the wrong server, and I'm getting word it's 1-0 up to Mama's Boys on their pick of Granary, but we unfortunately haven't caught that because it was all played in the wrong server.
Don't you just hate it when football teams turn up to the wrong stadium and just start playing some football, and then they just score a goal and they're like, oh no, we're supposed to be in Milan, oh no, and they have to pick up the ball and run on it. We've seen it all, Ben, but it's fine. This is a good start for Mama's Boy, and an expected start, isn't it?
Yeah, looking like the map pick bans. Because GlobalClan did lose to Mama's Boys 5-0 on Granary earlier in the season, but like, if you're GlobalClan, you still kinda have to ban Bagel, because like Mama's Boys, okay, it's most of that G6 team that we saw over in Denver, and we've seen for like dominating on Bagel for so long in America. They are the best team in the world on Bagel, so you kind of have to take that away from Mama's Boys. But to go into a map where you lost 5-0 on it in the regular season is not exactly something GlobalClan were probably happy to do.
Yeah, so we're going to be joining and starting roughly now, and these teams will be rolling out. We've got 22 minutes on the clock here, Ben, so don't think we've pulled those 8 minutes completely shy away from the Mama's Boys. They have earned their round fair and square. If you're just joining us, this is our RGL coverage of the Philadelphia LAN. We're deciding who's going to be winning the season, and the first match will be GlobalClan versus obviously Mama's Boy, and my god, they haven't even turned up to mid, so I assume they're going to give them a free mid.
They're trying to reset the time, I think, here, because the thing is with the RGL config is you have to the amount of rounds you're at when you hit the time limit like absolutely matters. You can't just say, okay, we'll play it, and if a team is one round up, we go to golden cap. They actually have to recreate the scenario, I believe.
Okay, so on JMax's stream right now, it is one round up, but we're actually getting that one round. We're just trying to tell the system, like, look, we did get one round, we earned it. Shamu's even going to give him a couple of kills on the board for the logs as well. I'm sure they got more kills than just 2 Shamu kills to start them off in their first round. But okay, now we're on for real now. Chris, we're on for real now. You can get rid of the quickie launchers, Chris. Chris, that you're rolling out, Chris. What are you doing?
They're both on it. They are both on it. This is a sight to behold. Not something you see on Essentials every day of the week. Not something you see in Europe at all. But like you say, they're on a double quickie bomb launchers out. I believe we're again resetting to the exact scenario because currently we've got nobody. We've got nobody Mama's Boys on mid. We've got players kind of just running around each other on second. Like, I've got to say, this is
I guess we're not
going to wait here for 6 minutes,
we're doing a proximity chat, I guess, and we're going to walk up to the players, have a quick chat about what the hell we need. So I'm guessing the entire point of this game is just to recreate as much as the scenarios that were happening. So I'd assume that, you know, even Ubers were on second. GlobalClan had the yard area, so they have the yard area for now, and they do a quick little handshake, and then they're going to continue the game. So there's the mid captured. The scouts going to catch back up. That's Saw. And surely now the games can begin. Welcome, Ben. Now the games can start.
Yep, here we go. We can actually get some gameplay going, and we can see some. No, they're not going to think about it. They're thinking about the timer. Never mind. We're maybe not gaming. Currently, we've got.
We're waiting for the timer. Okay, so
we're not waiting here for 5 minutes, are we? Because the timer was. Oh, they changed time limit. Okay, there we go. Go! Apparently, it's called.
We have the technology.
We are in.
We're going. I'm seeing actual not friendly fire anymore. It's unfriendly. We're starting the regular game in Team Fortress. Welcome here to the RGL Philadelphia LAN. Oh boy. So this is obviously our upper bracket semi-final. So, you know, if they lose here, it's not the worst thing in the world for either Mama's Boy or GlobalClan. And, you know, speaking of Mama's Boy, they're trying to make a push here onto Yard here, Ben.
They absolutely are, but it's maybe ill-advised because the shutter was left open. Saw is actually going to go down though to the Scattergun and Bomo, and that might open things up slightly for a push out into Yard. It's going to be 2 picks going the way of the
Dank,
Mama's Boys
excuse me.
team. And, oh yeah, taking a bit of flak there on the way out, and now Yana's been taken. Do they even want to go further?
Yeah, I think they're giving them a lot of ground for free. I think it's always them just knocking at the wrong door at the right time for Mama's Boy, but they decide a bit better of it now. They're going to just hold on to the yard area. They are one round up, 18 minutes left, but need I remind you, we're in the great freedom land of Freedom America, where they are playing a bit more freedom rules than we are usually, Ben, on this side of the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've got a bit of time to play with, and I've got to say, one pickup is not exactly enough to start barging your way into mid from your own yard on a map like Granary. But now it's going to be turning over the other way. We're going to see whether the GlobalClan side can get themselves in. Currently, some quickie bombs firing in, but Jay is actually going to be the one to go aggressive here into the window, taken down by that quickie bomb launch as a fight occurs over on the opposite side of yard. Be trading out 1-for-1 in terms of the soldiers, but space gained for GlobalClan, but it's not going to be gained for too long because this defense here from Mama's Boys is looking fairly solid.
Yeah, they both teams switching between 2 yards. They will pop in response over on Dank, but I don't think they really needed to do that, and because they popped those so early in the counter, unfortunately High Five does feed his life away, but they give out so much respect to Mama's Boys that they don't really want to take this fight to mid, even though I think they should though, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely, and again now they're going to try and get in with 1 pick advantage. There are a couple of weak players here over in the Mama's Boys combo, and players are getting launched around all over the place here from GlobalClan, but the height is being taken by the Blue Mama's Boys team, and they are managing to get a good amount of cap time, a good amount of damage into Dank as well, who has to fall back all the way into choke and actually goes down. Bomo walks in and takes 2.
Oh my god, it's GlobalClan are playing extremely scared right now. It's like the TF2 equivalent of a limp handshake. Everyone is just kind of going in one by one. Where's the big, word to go? Where is the main caller and just telling everybody to just coordinate?
It's a bit messy. It's a bit frantic, and this has kind of been, like essentially 3 points just back to back to back, just given up by GlobalClan. They're getting squeezed out in all these fights, and credit to Bomo there again, getting in at the perfect moment into enemy choke, takes down Demo, takes down Medic, and now has a big Uber advantage to come in with, and this Uber has already landed in onto the gun. Shamu's weak, Quax has already gone down, and now the point pressure could really start to collapse. Not much ground held so far by GlobalClan. Look at how much damage is getting into these shutters, and like you say, point is free, or at least it was free, because they seem to commit very hard for those kills on the shutter when, like you said, I don't know, point was available.
Yeah, the point was free for a long time, unless those stickies were massively hidden amongst all the little sort of trap innings of that last point. I'm pretty sure they could have just started capping or point pressuring straight from the get-go, but they wanted to get a bit proactive, go for the kills, and kind of solidify any sort of just counter-attack that could have happened against them. But okay, c'est la vie. We're going to move forward over on GlobalClan. They do have bot mode hanging about in that forward spawn, but will be pushed out of the way and now back to his own forward respawn.
The important thing here is that Mama's Boys, their medic died mega late, so this is a huge advantage.
Welcome to America. It's time for an Uber, Ben. Why? I don't know, but we're going in and we've used the Uber. We find nobody with it. Actually, we're losing kills. We do get a bonus kill into Chris, who obviously didn't expect a blindside red Uber coming out of nowhere and a scout to overcommit, but hey-ho, as we're trying to now play off of the picks that we've made from this surprise Uber on second point, but you actually lose a pick in the shape of
It's big disad now, though. It's big disad, and yeah, Mama's Boys can start walking in.
Taz goes down. Taz did not get the memo here, realized, oh no, what, we're at a disadvantage? How? As they will lose out on their roaming soldier. They're entering the midpoint for free. There's nothing really to resist them. No soldier, no spam, no nothing.
Yeah, I've got to say there from GlobalClan, they could have taken so much more space with that. That Uber, like, it felt a bit rash. And yeah, like you said, they didn't really get too much. They got a kill into Chris, but that was about it in terms of the actual value. 2 for 2 in an Uber like that. They're never going to stay in for much longer, especially facing full Desad. But now, they've managed to somewhat stabilise here in GlobalClan. They've got themselves set up on their own second. It's sometimes a comfortable place to hold, but there's already flank players from Mama's Boys getting all the way behind and into Lunchbox. Okay, this could get a bit weird.
Yeah, in the flank for free. Who's holding shutter door? Usually I turn to the roaming soldier, and he's here high-fiving the pocket soldier on the yard area.
they're backcapping. They can start a backcap and try and drag back Taz, drag back Sora as well. High Five and Bomo have a big job on their hands, and the rest of the combo can now look to walk in from the top of the garage. But cap time is really looking good.
Can you call this a back cap? This is more like a front cap. They're literally capping it right in front of their eyes. They will eventually pick off High Five because they bring back the entire supporting duo. The only thing that they have to kind of help themselves here is that they had a bit of a skirmish at Yard earlier with Slemnish, and they did end up winning that. So they haven't really got a backup for all those flanking players.
Now they're walking into mid, just up one pick. It's really aggressive stuff here from GlobalClan. They managed to trade out the Ubers, but they're going to have to retreat all the way back out. Sora's gone in behind on 19 HP, maybe not long for this world. Quack's gone down 2, and now this is kind of awkward. The Sora's gone all the way behind, like deep behind, trying to just get some health and try and get back in. So now it's a temporary 6v4 with no Ubers, and I think Mama's boys might want to try and barge their way through here.
Okay, so
Bomo's on medic.
We trade out a couple of hills. Dank is going to go down. Bot mode is literally just crawling all over them. Not a single shot to be had. There we go. He finally goes down now from Saw, who reconnects him from behind. And I think he only managed to do that because they just ignored him. And honestly, that was probably the best bet for Mama's boy to take.
Now they're like, there's 2 players behind. This is a big disadvantage if you're on GlobalClan. They can try and collapse in, try and get in onto this Mama's boys medic. They are going to try and poke around from the Yard, and they are doing enough distraction here to maybe stabilize a bit on second, but this disad is surely going to come back to bite GlobalClan eventually.
There's some good damage onto Chris from Saw poking out there, but there's no follow-up. I think there was opportunity from Taz, but he's feeling a bit too hot, too heavy. They have got that Uber, so I don't blame him the most in the world. Oh, nice crossbow to keep Taz alive. Another one to come back in. He gets a shot back down. So all that medical attention for nothing. They're in and last, and they're finally using the Uber charge to knock at the door. The Demoman's going to have to jump in the sky, but there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide as they're starting to cap the point. Much better point pressure this time, and what do you know? Point pressure equals point capture.
Yeah, that air shot from a High Five, that wasn't just good and flashy, that was really important, because that play from Taz, that was the idea with that is to try and force out the Uber charge. And that Uber just doesn't get forced until so much later, and all the ground that Mama's boys had taken by the time they had to use that Uber, it's basically free at that point. They're using Uber when they're already at the point on Granary, like, there's nowhere to run for the rest of GlobalClan. And there we go, 2-0 up, 11 minutes of time left to play. So still time to get back into this, of course, with the progressive rule set 2 as the soldiers, all 4 of them skyward here, trying to land in. High Five going to get some good damage over onto Dank. Dingo's gone down, but in the meantime, Babo on the Mama's boys side has dropped, so we are into pure DM DM fest at this point. 3 alive. Jade odds stacked against him.
Yeah, this is El Clasico sort of Granary here. Medics insta-dying, baubles flying in the same direction, soldiers flying in the same direction, and then everyone just taking the good 1v1s behind a crate in an alley.
I'll see what Jay manages to do here. Is decided to come back and try and regroup with the team. There is kind of an opportunity sometimes in those situations to kind of stay behind and try and delay this respawn wave. Maybe try and go for some kind of hiding play, or maybe try and just stay behind and be a nuisance later on. But 2 rounds up, there's no real need for Mama's boys to start doing any kind of crazy playmaking like that. So Jay manages to get out and manages to stabilize up with, I'd say, roughly even Ubers. It is a slight advantage to Mama's boys due to the fact that the Baba went down earlier, but it's not really too much, especially into a mid like Granary. You're never going to be using that, I wouldn't think.
Alright, so obviously they're just trying to get one back up into things for GlobalClan, because I'm seeing a lot of not really synchronized plays. They're going to use the Uber very early on second again. The beauty of this is that they get a lot of maybe possible multiing out of Mama's boys, but they brought in a lot of people onto the party, hope to draw a couple of people back and then maybe pick off those overextensions. They've done a little bit over on their own little choke, but they've decided to leave a couple of fighters in themselves, and when we throw a couple of dices, it could be worse, it could be better.
Taz goes in behind and gets the drop onto Babo, completely unseen, jumps in from the point, completely blindsiding the entire Mama's Boys combo. What a pick.
What are they scared of? If they can claim the Yard. I think they're scared of maybe somebody just jumping onto Dank, that they want to make sure they get everything on lockdown, just maybe get a few more players from that respawn queue. But Okay, better safe than sorry, I suppose. Now they're trying to see if they can weasel away a 3-second point, but they're not going to give it completely free. They've got 2 soldiers already at top for Mama's Boy, spamming it down, giving a little bit of pressure. They're going to have the Ubercharge now. They have switched off into Kritzkrieg over on Babo. Skis will strike with a critical hit if he isn't attended to.
Well, we'll have to see if they're quick enough, because that crit squeak already at 60%, but the Ubercharge is already coming in on the pipe. Going to get some good spam over towards the gun, and now it's all about point pressure, all about can they get in. Under skis before this Ubercharge comes up ready, 80% on that crits, but cap time already coming through. Very, very good cap time, but the heavy doing so much good work, 95% of the crits, and it looks like the crits may not even be needed because the last few GlobalClan players are going to fall. They had a real good go at it, but nah, the heavy was doing good in that post fight.
Very nice sort of like layered fighting from Mama's Boy. Obviously, when somebody's capping off your point, your soldiers are going in. Obviously, the first thing that you want to do over on GlobalClan is kind of pressure those people initially jumping onto your jumpers, but that leaves that heavy and all these other off classes unattended, and obviously a heavy hurts when you're just not hurting him at all. So
crits time maybe. Crits time, maybe Crits comes
can't
in and
really hit anybody though. They maybe got a couple of laser beams firing off a stray pipe that probably would have ended Taz, crit or not. And yeah, I think in the sort of panic of trying to get a forced out Uber, they never realised it was a crit.
yeah, maybe not. And I want to say that I'm kind of surprised, given all the commitment that went in towards Skis and the back end of that Skis actually didn't die. I really thought that the soldiers landing in his face, like, you know, this is at least. The GlobalClan, they're going to have a big advantage, going to maybe with no heals contest the second point, but nope, second point has also flipped as well as mid, so I don't know, like, it's like the North American way here, right? Surely I think GlobalClan are going to have a go at this with full ad.
They've got the advantage, but it's always a bit risky. Oh my god, they're just walking dank into bot mode. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the freest. I've never had a medic come to me before, but I'll take it. And now they've used the Uber, and what have they got? What have they got to show for it? They've actually got a Kritzkrieg to show for it. They're coming blazing out of the corner, and there's actually a back cap, or should I say like a medic cap, as the bot mode decides to forego winning the round and go for the medic instead. It's an onslaught here. We're not taking any prisoners, says Mama Boy.
And now it's only Demo and Soldier, Dingo and Quacks, with an impossible job to try and fend off Jay and Slemmish here with his last point. The HP
but they're just playing with their food here. They get the third round on the board. What is it, 5-0 in the hearts and the minds of GlobalClan?
It feels that way. I've got to say, like, these push-outs of last, like, you've got to be so careful, and there's a reason, like, that you don't always see teams going for those in those situations. Like, okay, I guess being crits and crits almost being up makes it kind of worse, but players, you've got to check every corner so diligently, and especially if you've got a flank scout like Bomo. He knows all the places, all the timings to come in, and went on an absolute tear. But this mid, Chris has taken a ton of damage.
It hurts to be a demo man. Oh my god, Taz just finishes the job anyway. This man was waiting patiently for a crossbow and he receives a red rocket instead. Now it's GlobalClan's turn to protect their medic. Dank just trying to find any four walls he can get behind and maybe shy away from these scouts. And he survives.
This is massive. And we saw, what, like 2-3 minutes ago, we saw GlobalClan have a mishap in pushing into enemy last. This time, that time with full ad. This time also full ad. But like, this is even more full ad because Skis died in that fight. Dank already had full Uber. This is about 120% advantage here. So there's no real risk of a crit screen coming up. There's only the gun getting set up to level 1 now. If GlobalClan are going to come back into this game, they have to be winning rounds like this.
Okay, maybe they need to take a page out of the Mama's Boys book and go a bit more killy rather than a bit more cappy this time. Let's see if they'll decide to go that way as we're going to go in. We're going to get try and be a bit greedy with the Uber, but we do use it relatively start at the door. The majority of it's just spent trying to get to the other corner of the map. They haven't really done too much with it. I'm not seeing any damage on the board here. Can we fire our guns here, GlobalClan? As now we're trying to pressure the point, but you've got 3 people already blocking those 2 defenders of the last point, and god, I didn't really see any sort of coordination. What was the plan there, Ben?
I really don't know, because I don't know, this is maybe like, again, comparing to what we see a lot in ETF, on those Ubers where you run through left like that, the demo like deals with the gun and then instantly uses the Uber Flash to jump over to that right spawn and deal as much damage as is physically possible with whatever he's got loaded left in the clips. But that's not what we saw there. We saw them just sort of waddling across, no Uber left, and now they're paying the price because they are getting kind of crunched on here, but never mind because Taz is hitting direct, and wait a second, Mammo's getting forced.
Nice, GlobalClan. You realise that if you just keep attacking these players, even though they have the Uber charge, there's a good chance that they'll let slip these picks here. They don't have access to pressing the Uber charge button here, Ben. Only the poor medic Babo does. So if you manage to get the kill onto someone before he's quick enough, you could probably snowball a lot of kills, and that's what's ended up happening. It's the bad timeline. They even used the Uber in the tail end there, doing nothing. They've got a full fat Uber charge now. They've got the barrel of the gun of Shamu in the higher fire space. This is so much better, but we need a bit more kills. Don't we dare click on that medic. Stop clicking that medic, GlobalClan. We need to get more actual kills onto the board, and oh god, the DM is shining here for the rest of Mamo's board.
This is going to be heartbreaking for GlobalClan. Like, they are getting the chances. This is the third time we've seen them using it in certain scenarios. That time was even better because I don't even believe there was a gun that time around because the transition was so fast, and it's off the back. So on mid, you do not even, when you're thinking, okay, we're gonna hold mid, like kind of passive with this, like the dream scenario is like you get a force for like one player and live or something, or you get a drop and lose a player and have to run back. It's not, we get 4 kills and a force and nobody dies.
Surprise jump, going aggressive. Chris is like, what the hell? Why have they entered in the door for free? And they've also got an extra bonus pick, and also nobody died. Okay, Taz died. That's fine though. That's casualties of war. Oh no, Shamu's died. That's maybe
it's
another
more than just casualties of war.
Yeah, oh no, war is a cruel mistress. It keeps on going. The machine must keep feeding. Thank goodness that Dingo's getting every single crossbow poured into him, and will keep himself alive. But it was looking really nice for GlobalClan there. Really kind of blindsided them, but they just didn't have enough pep in their step to kind of keep themselves alive at the end there.
Yeah, just well followed up there from Mama's boys on the damage. There was a couple of low players, those 2 soldiers over on GlobalClan, and it was they were well cleaned up. If they had time to get arrowed and maybe let's recommit in that fight, that could have gone an entirely different way. But for now, it's going to be Mama's boys just setting themselves up for this even Uber's second point. But Dingo fires that lock and load in through onto Chris, and what a gun! Absolutely, I agree.
All right, we're gonna fish. We're still fishing here, Ben. We're looking for more lock and load. We're getting a couple of bites, but we're not getting the trout. As oh god, we just can't seem to pressure enough to kind of get more weakness out of Mama's boys. So we retreat back to yard, kind of look our wounds, and what's the plan now?
Yeah, I respect that because I think, like, I know it's sort of underappreciated how hard it is to get from yard into mid on this map. There's like 3 doorways you can go through, all of them kind of small and all of them kind of spammable as well. So off of the back of even a demo pick, like trying to actually get bodies into mid or get a sack off or anything like that is not easy at all. So when you've gone for the spam, you try and get a kill. If it doesn't come, you just retreat it out. You don't want to overstay your welcome because we've seen GlobalClan get caught out for that a couple of times already this map. So good bit of progress, and now Shamu and having a good bit of time over on Choke.
Yeah, we're seeing the advantages here of running Taz more on this choke side, because now this poor pocket soldier doesn't have to deal with the ramp room and the choke. They can kind of do both. It does make their left a bit more susceptible and weaker, and if if Mama's boys are paying attention, they should realize this weakness. They send in Jay, and that makes
they drop their medic.
I don't know why Dank held that close, and I'm not sure if he wanted to take Jay personally in a fist fight, but he will go down. And now they've got 3 rain, they've got all the heals in the world. A blunderous mistake from GlobalClan in the midst of things.
Yeah, well, I think it was a bit of a weird one there, because I think they went in for the Uber trade, because I'm watching
Quacks
that from...
doesn't even know. Quacks doesn't know that he's right behind them, he's knocking at the door and the man's already outside. Dank, he's back, but he's got no patience. He finally finds a couple, healing them back up, maybe all having a soft roll
How are they hanging on?
How are they hanging on? Because I don't think they've got anything loaded or paying attention. That was a nice pipe, but Slemnish, your boy needs you. Are you not taking this fight anymore? I guess they're worried about those respawners over on Mama's boys. But now they're still kind of challenging Saw, so I'm not really sure what any team is thinking at this point.
This has been a really weird last minute. I think in that play on the second with the drop, I believe Shamu was trying to take a trade, and just Shamu ran in and just hurled himself straight in onto Chris. but I just think there was a bit of damage coming in at the last moment, and Dank tried to milk for a few more seconds, and maybe they should have done it. Now it's going to be roughly even. It's a tiny ad if a dot push comes in. It could be a bit gnarly,
nice.
but okay, yeah, high five going down. That sort of cancels any chance at a dot push.
All right, surely this is the time to get an engineer up. There we go. Shamu is reading my mind.
Here we go.
So with one less soldier, that's one less person that's probably going to be spamming, or likely no people going to be spamming. As no soul bonus kill onto Chris here. They could humor this idea, and they actually switch off Shamu from the engineer, so they definitely want to go for this push play, but they're keeping Saw on the sniper class. Jay gets picked off again from the emerging soldiers from spawn.
Quax has gone deep behind as well. Uber Trade coming out in just a second. This is where these push-outs can get a bit messy, because now they've got to scurry back to the last. There's a potential back cap coming in. High five going to bomb and get a bit of cap time. Bomb back
Quax
out
is
again.
still
Quax is in
behind, though.
behind, trying to maybe collapse in just a second, as everyone on this last point for Global
Quax
Clan
is challenging the combo as well, and Chris can't really respond. He's only a demo man that's reloading, I should say. Although he is peeking and prodding, poking and peckering, but he can't quite land a kill onto anybody. They're just going to try and pressure second, and finally they've done it. The Juggernaut Gauntlet of second point has been captured by GlobalClan.
And now there's kind of a weird situation, because Bomo, the flank scout over on Mama's Boys, is currently on Sniper. And I'd normally say stuck on Sniper, but knowing what Bomo's capable of in this class, I'm not quite sure I'd go that far, because he's got a couple of decent angles to use here in onto this second point. That one from Shutter is one you can use. Also, if you get all the way deep into Lunchbox, maybe that's an angle you can perhaps look at. There's maybe an angle coming in now over onto the demo of Dingo as he sort of crawls in with the scope out. Maybe sees the medic. No, good job actually so far from Dank, staying out of these sight lines. The Uber Trade can come flying in.
Okay, I like this Uber trade. On paper, they have one less scout to kind of play with, so if in these post Ubers, usually it's pretty strong for the enemy team, but they don't want to even stick outside. And, you know, I don't blame them. This is Granary. This is a very segmented second point, so they're just going to back off, get the Ubers out of the equation, and Bomo finds the kill onto Quax. That's going to make him a little bit braver now, or at least all these other players over on Mama's Boys a bit braver. They take the top for free, and they manage to even get the regular main on lockdown as well with just their flank players. So GlobalClan, what started off as them being proactive, has actually led them to a losing streak.
And So actually getting one kill on high five is really big. If So goes down for free there, this is potentially a bit awkward, but now has been taken out. But I think are we seeing them trying to reclaim second here? I think we are.
Do you think they're aware that they have the Uber advantage? I don't think so. Actually, they throw in Jay. I think they expected them to get the Uber first. Dank did use his Uber first proactively, so he should have it earlier. But, well, have it now. They pop off Uber. They're trying to get them to multi, and they've done so a little bit successfully. A bit of trade of rumors on the thing, but the main show is this combo kind of rubbing up against each other. Quax take the majority of the... Oh, my God, Dingo feeds his life. But
that was so funny on Dingo. Dingo walks out to the shutter, and Bomo is hiding underneath the forward spawn, and 150 body shots Dingo, and he gets launched out of the shutter. that was a really
these
comedic
corners.
goal.
Bomo was just finding the right corner at the right time, and it's paying dividends. Bot mode still has opportunity to rock here on the sniper. Is going to poke out, but decides against it now, challenged by the demo, and Saul is even back on sniper class as well. That's 2 picks. Why the hell are we losing 2 picks here in a last scenario with no sentry gun?
It's really tooth and nail, isn't it, the way this is being held.
Dank.
Bomb comes in onto Dank. Dank's very weak. 30 HP, 20 HP goes down before the Uber can even be used. And now one scout versus the world, not going to be easy. And the sniper as well. Bomo keeps hitting the shots. That's GG for map number 1, 4-0, Mama's Boys. Running confident.
Well, there you are. That is our first map of Granary. I had a quick check, make sure we're still in timing, we're still in all sorts of freedom rules, and we are. So that is a pretty convincing start, but keep in mind that was the map pick, Ben, for Mama's Boys. So I want you to get your copium canister out and start huffing, as we still have Sunshine from GlobalClan to pick and play here.
Yeah, Sunshine, like, maybe we can talk about that in a moment, I guess, because it is their pick, and it's going to be remembered, right? This was a 5-0 in the league play in favour of Mama's Boys, so I guess 4-0 means some kind of progression, maybe, from GlobalClan. Just getting one round back. Maybe it's going to take a bit more time before they start turning these into wins. Got to go to 3-0, 2-0, and so on. But I don't know. It's like as 4-0s go, I think that wasn't actually that dominant. I think
Yeah,
Global
it
Clan were
was.
like a few moments away from getting rounds.
There was mistakes to be had on both sides, and I think the mistakes are a bit more Heendis on GlobalClan, more like kind of coordination. I never really liked those in top teams. I feel like at this point you should be able to like listen to a main caller's call and go in at the same time. And if that's not happening, it kind of makes me question if like the main caller is making that call or he doesn't have that sort of chokehold on the team like that. And I know there's probably team members on that team that were thinking, oh, I don't really want to go for that call. Things are different. Things are bad right now. That's a bad call. I feel a bad call, all coordinated, is always going to be better than a good call, kind of separated. So, but say la vie, it is a 4-0. I'm looking at the logs. I'm clicking on the damage stat because I'm brainless. And Dingo is actually the one that's charting the tops here or topping the charts.
Yeah, this we talked about it a bit before we went live with the game. This loadout that we're seeing from the from both demos, to be fair, is not something at least I personally am used to. Over in Europe, there's like quickie bomb launcher lock and load, but we see here 6,000 and odd damage exclusively with the quickie bomb launcher is kind of crazy. It's just like the long range single sticky snipes you can do with it. Like, 'cause the more you charge it up and the longer range you're going, the more damage it does. So it's fantastic if you want to just be spamming single stickies over. And yeah, Dingo did a great job of that through the whole game.
Yeah, I don't know. It maybe if I think I'm expecting maybe I don't know. I think I'd have to pull up a bit more Granary logs, maybe look at Scrim's results because maybe the data would back it up, and you're like, wow, these quickies are kind of making a bit more magic happen. But I don't think that was really what won it for either of these two teams.
Oh
I think
no.
it was just down to these kind of coordinations because I liked GlobalClan's aggressiveness. Believe it or not, there wasn't moments where I was like, "Oh my god, they go for a surprise in second." This was, what a no. No, there's a couple of times where it worked out magnificently and in their own right, but it was just a couple of times, especially as the longer the fight goes, things get a bit more uncoordinated, and maybe your main callers or your playmakers don't know the full picture because everyone isn't really painting it for them. Like, oh no, I'm out, I'm low health, or I have no ammo, or I'm on the other side of the map, and yet people are still going on GlobalClan. Whilst obviously Mama's boys, they kind of know each other a bit better. They know what would probably they can get away with on their own team. So, and that's kind of just automatically winning it for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and the last pushes were the real difference maker here. Like you say, the pushes from Global Clan, they had
Oh,
plenty of chances with them,
the
but it just like you say, it was just coordinated. I think the Uber was doing one thing, parts of the team were doing something else, and sometimes the Uber, let's be frank, wasn't doing much at all. And yeah, these post fights end up looking pretty rough, but they always are going to do if you're if your Uber's not got kills or a ton of space or people are getting locked in spawn,
I think you're
you're
right
going to lose.
about the last point. 100%. It must be very discouraging because they had probably one of the most fortunate setups for a last hold. Usually, the ones that you kind of expect is where you just have an Uber ad and you're going into a team that doesn't have an Uber ad. Those are the ones that you kind of coordinate and trying to train for and make them more of a transferable sort of guarantee. But they had it where they forced the enemy Uber. They had a couple of picks on it. They had no setup at the end of last. They're in at last. They had a late pop as well. They had every advantage going into them at last. And yet still they turned it around over on Mama's Boys. Is that just a testament to them just playing out of their mind, or was that just GlobalClan dropping the ball here, Ben?
I think it's a mixture. It's a mixture. I think some of these Ubers I think were a bit messy, but on the other hand, I think Global Clan they were refighting really well. They were kiting the Uber around well. The heavies were coming out and getting tanked up at the right times. The crits, even though it wasn't being used, they were keeping the med alive long enough in those fights to potentially pull out the crits later on if needed. And yeah, I think the holds on Global Clan on the whole were good, but I wouldn't say they were anything particularly extraordinary. But but now I guess we can maybe talk about Sunshine a bit because Sunshine is a map where I'd argue it's probably even harder to get into last than it is on Granary. So it's going to be it's a little claustrophobic. So the Ubers there's less you can do with them. You can I don't know. You've got less distance to travel between places, which is potentially good. But also like the spawn door is so close to the point, and it's very claustrophobic for getting in. You're not able to milk in that easily, especially on that top right. So I think it's different, but it'd be interesting to see if GlobalClan, it's their map pick, see if they've got anything cooked up for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a bit more avenue for this last point to kind of be had. I think you can pressure cook on this last point compared to Granary. Granary feels like, how can you pressure somebody where they're so far away from all the doors and they've got a high ground automatically and all this, but you have a little bit of like things fighting your way for Sunshine. You can kind of pressure cook it that a little bit more and maybe even like cheat the sentry gun out a bit. I don't think there is like a nice ideal spot for the gun to go as well, so we'll see. Maybe they'll have to start maybe going into the unlocks bin, for my liking, to kind of break this last hold, as it is a bit kind of hard to break cookie cutter style. But we'll see. We'll see what flavor of unlock they're liking here over on GlobalClan and on Mama's Boy. Do you have a favorite Ben, perhaps?
Oh, for unlocks into Sunshine.
Mantreads, perhaps.
Yeah, Mantreads is good. I like Mantreads, particularly if you've got the gun like on the mini health pack, like by the side of dungeon. That's good. But honestly, like there's one thing I want to like RGL. Like they still have battalions in the pool, and I think battalions is very strong on like. I think it's very possible for soldiers to get spam damage, especially if you just park the top right and they just keep chip damaging the demo. Like you can build a banner like. It's not the hardest map to build a banner on, I'll say that much. So I think maybe that could be good. Take a fight, trade out the Ubers, and then come back in with Uber 1.5.
Yeah, I think it's a bit easier to rotate as well. I think you can
oh, for sure,
rotate round on the Sunshine much easier. You've got the assistance of the ammo pack, the health pack. I know it doesn't seem like much, but if you were pushing, say, Granary earlier, that health pack and ammo pack is so far away. You don't have time to really kind of weasel back all the way around. That's why you never really see a rotation happening on Granary. But it's very possible in Sunshine to kind of pressure out one door, go round to the other, and you've got a couple of options as well. You don't know if they're coming from lower, you don't know if they're coming from right when they make this sort of repush in, and you can't really wrap around from the left. I'll tell you from experience, Ben, the amount of rounds I lost on Sunshine chasing the rotating team on Sunshine has been astronomical, so I wouldn't recommend it to these teams.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of plays a bit weird, but what I'm also kind of curious to see in that regard is the demos. Are they going to like mix up their loadouts based on the map? Because we do see it even like in Europe between the Iron Bomber and the stock pipes. We do see some demos like rotate between the two depending on the map, but particularly sticky launchers. Because from like my like limited knowledge of watching Quickie Bomb Launcher gameplay, I think Sunshine feels like a map where, at least on the mid fights, it feels like it'd be quite good. Because it's a lot of like, if you're playing the rotational sort of standoff sort of mids, you can really like abuse the biggest upside of it, which is the long range single detting spam. And I think that's like, this is a map where it plays into a lot better than something like Granary, where like you're sort of rolling out to mid fighting for your life from moment one. I think here, like if you get to a long rotation, big Quickie Bomb can really come into its own.
Yeah, I think I could see this is a very good map for it. The temptation is there for like a lot of mid fights, though. You could be like, well, the Deraman does like to slam those stickies from across the point, so the temptation is just to say it's good on a lot of these mid points. But I think what maybe tilts it over the edge is you have options on the second point going in from that cafe area and taking the fight from there.
Choke as well.
Yeah, possibly choke. It maybe gets a bit shorter because obviously you have to come around that initial corner, whilst Cafe, you have that entire sort of long way fighting, and they usually like to sit on that concrete platform from the get-go over on the defending side. But, who knows? Maybe it could, all it takes is one little loss, a 4-0 on Granary, for example, Ben, to kind of put you off the quickie launchers. Maybe this is just the whipping boy of the unlocks to kind of like think, okay, guys, I've switched to the sticky launchers. We're going to win now.
Yeah, well, I think I'm looking in pre-game. It seems like both these demos are still running it. But I was going to add to your point on the second point, right? Like the current meta, like even like in Europe, when we don't have the quick bomb launcher for like pushing second and sacking in, is you have your demo walk choke like up the little staircase, and they're single netting stickies over the top onto the enemy med to try and just get like 50, 40 damage or whatever, just to make the sack a little bit easier. But with the quick bomb launcher, that job just gets a lot easier. You're single netting anyway. You don't need the traps up as much, I guess. So.
Yes, but I think also it might have been outshone by its bigger brother of the lock and load, the almighty Zeus bolt in the sky
that is true.
that comes blazing down, and you're like, where did my med go? Oh, right, it was a single pipe. Blink and you'll miss it, Ben.
Yeah, the lock and load is... All I'm going to say is in Europe, we banned it. Like, what was it, around 2 years ago, I think now?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think ever since that barrel changed from 2 to 3, we did not like thee.
Yeah, we had it fairly recently. I feel like it was only like a few years ago. We actually like got rid of it. Maybe brought it back and then got rid of it again. But yeah, like it's, I don't know. There's certain players that are a bit too good with that weapon, and when they on form with it, the dodgeability on it is not great.
I don't think we take insta-kills very lightly here over in EU land, but this is what we love about America. America are the trailblazers of, it seems, the TF2 world. They're trying different maps. They're trying different, game modes, game types, game settings. Literally trying all sorts of different connotations. And who knows, if Banny like really starts loving like pastime, it's like, well, this is default competitive TF2 now. He's pushed for it. His entire brood love it, and this is going to be the regular way of playing TF2 if he just pushes it enough.
I've got to say, like, pastime is great, and like it's we had like obviously the season like last year a bit. Don't think we had a chance to cover much of it over on Essential. I believe Fireside were covering a bit of like, the European pastime stuff, and that was great fun to watch that. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. America, like in general, they feel a bit more open minded to this sort of stuff. Like there's like all sorts of like unlocked maps, whatever, that like they'll try out first, and then we'll sort of watch on from across the Atlantic and think, oh, is that good? Is it bad? This new map, is it a bit weird? Do we like it or not? We'll maybe trial it for a season. Like Villa's coming this season after having like a fair few runs out in RGL. We've had Sultry as well, Bagel, like all maps that just we kind of watch from afar, and they eventually get integrated if after enough seasons we think they're good enough.
But this isn't just for the love of the game, Ben. They are fighting for, as my TF2 crashes, we are fighting for a wonderful prize pool of RGL's giving. It is going to be a first place prize pool of $1,740.23. Don't forget the cents here, Ben, as it's a pretty penny for a lot of TF2 teams compared to the regular climate of tournaments.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And also, like, I think it's like, again, I don't know how feasible this would be to do in Europe. There's obviously like unique things on either side of the pond regarding like visas and all sorts of like availability and stuff. But like the fact that like the online season playoffs feed into LAN, I think is really cool. And the fact that like they get all 4 of their top teams, I don't believe any of them are having to run subs or mercs or anything. Like they've actually everyone's got here like with their full roster, and they can really fight out and see who's best like from the season in the same room together with a crowd, with a stream, with big prize money on the line. I think it's great.
Yeah, and plus you unlock a new skill set here, Ben. But there's all sorts of little aspects, from just the fact that can you even get from point A to point B to get to the place that you need to be when the time comes down to it. And then the next is playing at LAN. A whole new set of skills come out when you have to deal with Banny, shouting in the corner of your ear and like people rocking your chair and all this stuff. If you could still play out that wonderful bit of TF2 just like you do at the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like LAN TF2 is in the truest form of it, and yeah, like having the 4 top teams in America at once coming together is pretty good. We've got a long weekend ahead. Obviously, we've got this is only round number 1. This is going to go on for quite a bit longer today, and also quite a bit longer tomorrow as well, as it all culminates in that big best of 5 over tomorrow night. But for now, I think we're just trying to get last couple of players into the server. Like Dank was in the server a couple of moments ago, but I've seen leave the server again. So I believe for now we're only missing him.
Let me have a look. So we've got all of Mama's boys, and I think we are
It's
missing.
Dank, yeah.
Yes, here
Oh,
he
Dank's
is. Comes
rejoining.
back.
That's the thing on LAN, right? Is like random things happen more. Like I don't know, people can go walk about. They want to go and chat. You know, someone pulls over and says,
Yeah.
"Oh, it was great last map.
Oh,
Whatever. Did you see this? Did you see that? Whatever."
The bane of an admin's life is just trying to keep the player tied to his seat because they're like whiny little children. Yeah, Ben.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of them are whiny little children. They will.
That is true, yeah.
But the children that like smoke and drink and they're just absolute animals, and then the admins probably need to smoke and drink just as much to keep up with them.
Yeah, like it's disappearing off to get food between maps or going and doing it like do whatever they may feel like. But yeah, there's every LAN you see the admins. There's like rumor goes around, or so and so's late for their game. Go find them.
Yeah.
And a search party goes out trying to find
such
the one
and such
person.
doesn't like his chair. He refuses to play until he gets the perfect chair. What divas. Anyway, I don't think we're having too much of that in this current LAN, but then again, we're not men on the ground. Maybe the admins will sneak us a couple of messages. A bit of trivia for us. We're just waiting to get ready on our Sunshine map. We got all the players in, but we haven't really got them all seated up and kind of happy and starting the game. Maybe fiending on the stream, perhaps, here, Ben. So, speaking of, maybe we should benefit and kind of reward our fiending players and tell them who's kind of popping off in your eyes, who's doing really well and want to see more gameplay of.
We can talk a little bit because they have actually, as you asked that question, pressed F4. But I was, I've not seen Chris play much on the demo before, but Chris on demo I think has had a few good moments in that last map, and maybe coming in into Sunshine has gone back over to the regular sticky bubble launch. We've seen some more stock standard gameplay from him on this one. But here we go, map number 2 is going to be Mama's Boys in the blue up against GlobalClan in the red.
Okay, Dingo still rocking that quickie launcher, and so far so good. Nobody jumping it. Oh my God, Jay defying gravity. Does he have his anti-gravity boots on? Will eventually go down, and Taz manages to not only jump in but keep himself alive and come back to the team. They need it because Dingo went down so early in that fight, and you know how Demomans get. A Demoman advantage is a powerful thing in TF2, Ben.
What Jay did as well there, which is very important, is okay, doesn't get the med kill, but look at how many players had to run back to Cafe to deal with that one soldier. There was no positioning on mid, no high ground, no anything. As now, it's all the way back to last. Saw's already getting a gun up. Taz is on enemy second, currently having a bit of an MGE fight against High Five. It's gonna be maybe going Taz's way. Actually gets the kill. Bomo's come back.
He's gonna get the health back
round
as
2.
well, so he can maybe challenge this scout, but we'll keep digging deeper and digging deeper. So this allows GlobalClan to humor the idea of pushing out. Dank is realizing though why many people don't like to push out here on the second point.
Jay's
Jay
coming
is on
last.
that. He's one time
Cap
warrior.
direct.
Oh, doesn't quite get it. Imagine if he had a pain train. Why did they use the Uber? What were they being pressured by?
I think they got pressured from the shutter as they turned around. I didn't quite catch it because I had all eyes on this back cap, and now the counter Uber can come in. But
they're
actually,
not even
a couple of players going down makes this very over. Quack's in behind doing massive damage, but Bomo able to finish off the cap time that Jay started just moments ago. And I've got to say, like, Jay coming in that direct on the scout was beautiful. I really thought that was round done and dusted there.
I mean, well, what can you say? I don't think Mama's boys are even feeling particularly pressured in the point at all, as in they will forego winning the round just to kind of get a bit more kills and, you know, solidify things, whether it's calm, cool and collected or just maybe bored, but who knows.
We're going to go left side this time over on GlobalClan to mix things up and send a big soldier, double soldier actually landing it in over onto Skis, damage coming in, but Taz gets deleted upon impact, shall we say, and that is mid number 2 over as quickly as it started.
I don't think he even did any damage there. I think it was just a very intimidating corpse thrown in that direction. Sadly, there's no physics engine quite like the Half-Life system. Nobody's going to take any damage from getting a body thrown at them. And speaking of bodies being thrown, High Five going out for the meme spoon, doesn't quite find it, however, and will get picked off. This is pretty good to say they don't have a sentry gun to deal with, but I think that was a bit of a limp attempt from the rest of Mama's boy. I think they just kind of wanted to humour the idea of throwing one soldier and see what they could get.
Well, they're going to go in for round number 2 though now. Jay again coming in onto the point, no gun covering it, but Saw going to catch that one, and Boma's gone down. But as for that first sack, I think the idea was they really, really wanted High Five to go in and get the demo, but Dingo hits a really crisp lock and load direct, which keeps him alive. But I think if the demo goes down there 1-for-1, I really think that the rest of the Mamas Boys team wanted to come in. But down a soldier, they really like had to, you know, play it slow and go for round number 2. And round number 2 is going to involve a bit of off-classing because we see a sniper and we still don't see a sentry gun.
Yeah, Uncle Dane's...
I don't get this.
Yeah, Uncle Dane's biggest haters on GlobalClan. They really don't want to play with the engineer class, but they are... Oh, nice pipe coming out from Dingo. A bonus 2-for-1 market deal. As now we've only got 3 players. We can see all 3 of them in the crosshairs of these scouts, so they all feel nice and safe pushing out over on GlobalClan. And again, what can we say but what a weapon. We need to set up a jar system here, Ben, if every time we say that.
We do, yeah. At some point we need to count how many times we mentioned it, because now it's actually going to be GlobalClan walking in aggressive once more in the second sword, taking some space, which was the point, getting bullied out though by all this spam, the Rap Assassin balls as well flying through, and respectable decision here from GlobalClan. They think, you know what, we'll push in, we'll probe the point a bit, but once the spawners are in, they know they can't stay there forever. And now it's going to be Mamas Boys' turn to turn the screw and try and get some players in as Jay bombs in instantly.
Okay, holding together slightly over on GlobalClan. It was looking a bit dicey for my liking, but in not really committing or holding in a particular way. They're all aware of their surroundings. They're kind of all dealing with the same jumper, but putting enough eggs in one sort of defending basket, if there's another player being thrown in, I could see them cracking over on GlobalClan. But
Quacks
now...
in. Quacks in, gets air shot into the middle of a team, and then gets the force out. The air shot blasting him in behind.
Okay, we're using Uber over on GlobalClan. We really want to punish this medic. We do find the medic now. Now we just need to lock down our own medic and find these bonus kills. But High Five and Jay are doing a lot of damage. Dank is on his own now. It seems in this proactiveness they've just led to their death. Dank is going to get the longest respawn of his life. 19 seconds. Count them, as they're already capping them over on the second point. They can make their way to last. They're probably going to as well if Quacks didn't have something to say about it.
That's a crucial kill from Quacks there over onto Chris. He's going to delay this so much. If they're demo man up here, they're already walking into last and trapping off the spawners, let it be real. So they're going to have to just play off the ad. But once again, we saw this so much on Granary as well. Bomo in these post Ubers is lethal. Just getting and cleaning up everything that his combo started. But now we are already seeing a push out. Ubers aren't up, so they can actually get in, and they can maybe try and catch something over onto Skis, who's had to run out all the way back to Cafe. Lots of damage being sustained by these Mamas Boys players as they are getting bullied out, and what a push out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty impressive to say how well Mama's Boys kind of recovered there and reset their players. It could have gone a lot worse. Oh, Dingo caught at the door and will go down. And sure, you get a second point, but you lose out in the grand scheme of things. But they haven't capped second yet. Is anybody going to cap second? Chris goes down.
That's again a really important demo kill. Chris getting caught a couple of times before these pushes can come in. And that has bought enough time now for the Ubers to come up from either side. But once again, we are not seeing any signs of this slowing down. We are seeing signs of them walking forward and trying to take something aggressive out of last and into the Mamas Boys team. As now, High Five taking a lot of flack towards choke, but Demoman has arrived, Chris is back in, and surely they now have to retreat onto last and play this even Ubers. But there's still no engineer, still no off-class, there's no heavy or anything.
Well, they've got a spy.
Oh, they've got engineer now. We've got engineer now.
Spy, just having a little class check, just seeing what shenanigans they're up to. But no shenanigans here, honest, as now they're seeing if they can get the sentry gun cleaned up from this left. They will do successfully. Not even level 2, just level 1, kind of sitting on the point. They get the pick onto High Five, but they're trading a lot of players close to the door. They lose a lot of people during the Uber, or can you say they forced out the Uber? It's about your perspective, I suppose. And Taz now being pressured at the point. Are they going to commit in or not? You need to decide here and now. They actually use the Uber very early. I don't know why they need to keep clicking that button like it's the button to go.
Yeah, they actually lose a player in the backline as well. No, actually, Taz got out, but they nearly lost Taz in the backline as well. They just about scrambled it up. But now, like, the problem is with holding that Uber for so long is that now you're at disad. Now this is like 30-ish advantage for Skis and the rest of the Mamas Boys team, as now they can really look to push this one forward. They're getting their spawner in time as well. And Mama's boys with their best chance since the very start of this game, to be honest, are getting around going. Gun not being built yet either, still in level 1 on this right-hand side, and this Ubercharge can come flying in at any moment.
Okay, they're going from lower. Early pop to avoid the sniper pick-off. The sentry gun is only level 1. Taz isolated and probably going to get controlled. Nice jump out from Taz, making a lot of space for his team. Surviving as well, rotating. A very nice start for GlobalClan. They're trying to get the pick onto Saw. Saw cleans them up. This is very nice, and it's off the back of Taz, keeping himself alive. A nice collapse coming out from Dank as well. A wonderful job from GlobalClan there, and a big shout out to your boy Taz.
Fantastic job, and now look at this. They can even walk forward and start sticking up this forward spawn, and it is
That's
nuclear.
the money shot there. That's cinema here in the sunshine, and my god, are the rays shining on GlobalClan. They could even potentially get the forward spawn capture again.
They did actually try for it, and Quacks went down in the attempt, which is the one downside of this. They've even got a bit overzealous there, and it was actually a nice shot, to be fair, from Bomo. In the end, he was able to get that final lick of damage. But now, Uber advantage, not monstrous advantage, it's what, 40-ish%, but definitely goable. They know exactly how much it is because they saw Skis leave the forward spawn just a few moments ago, and now they're looking to rotate the beam over towards Valley and maybe try and get something going on quick. There's Jay hiding in towards Choke, but the Uber charge is going to fly in. Jay going to one behind as the Uber walks forward in onto Bomo, who's the only fatality so far. Jay actually behind, surely down, So the entire flank falls. But
if they're snazzy here, they could maybe fish more over on GlobalClan. And there's no sentry gun either. Soldier going in.
Onto Skis.
Pressuring Skis. Has to be knocked back at the door. They get a kill onto Slemnish. They're probably going to get the kill onto High Five as well. Someone finish that man. They will clean him up. Dingo goes down. Maybe goes
Skis
down
drops
for the
in the midst of it.
though. Oh, they get the kill onto the Scouts as well. It's 2 combat classes. One has got 20 HP. He's out of the fight. 3 on last. The last clutching Sticky can't quite get there in time. It's an equalizing round for GlobalClan.
Honestly, that pressure cook was fantastic. Like you say, the soldiers behind point over from Mama's boys, they just couldn't get healthy. They were constantly getting spammed and pressured and constantly having to get arrows. And eventually, Skis drops in the midst of it. And I didn't catch exactly what to, because at the same time, well, everyone else was dying. So, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Are we getting word that Dank dropped the medic?
Oh my. Okay, maybe he can redeem some of his Ubers here by taking Ubers himself.
Absolutely wild stuff as we go for the left side mid again here from GlobalClan. Kind of a demo kill very early.
You aren't as tanky as you think you are. You think you're playing the scout class, but not anymore. Taz is going to get pressure. That's a nice pipe, taking a bit of damage overall over on GlobalClan. And keep in mind, we've switched mids here over on both of these teams, so no back out plan. And Jay surgically gets a kill, backs out, keeps himself alive, and turns 5 heads in the making. Jay even following up with a High Five is going to get these bonus kills. That is a schooling of TF2 if I've ever seen.
The collapse again. These post fights are fantastic, and this time Slemnish the one going in, cleaning up these final couple of players on behind in his own second point at the end of that one. Really good stuff, and even despite losing their demos so early, you just saw the high ground control that they maintained with Jay and High Five throughout that entire mid fight, and now they're reaping the rewards all the way to last. Gun still getting built up because of the late spawners. Uber charge nowhere in sight for GlobalClan, but it's certainly safe for Mama's boys as they look like they're about to use it.
Alright, there comes the use. We've taken out the sentry gun. Now we were trying to pressure the point away from the stickies, trying to reset those stickies. Now trying to get on top of this heavy weapons guy. We're trading a couple of kills. The soldier's going to enter back into the fight. Someone needs to block the point though. It's a point for the rest of Mama's boys, as nobody was there to block the point in time from any of the soldiers. To even the demo man couldn't get on top from GlobalClan.
Good effort from GlobalClan there, trying to hang on. I saw the soldiers did actually bomb in earlier, but I think one of them died and the other one did a lot of damage but just got knocked away. And there we are, 2-1 up. Another mid to last round that we saw. This is how they got their first one right at the start of this game, and it's only been 13 minutes played. This feels like it's been a really, really intense one for so little time played, and now it's going to be another intense start. The mid as Taz gets taken down in Cafe instantly.
Very early pick. They do get this Chris kill again. Chris going down, but maybe it's not worse than a word. And yeah, Dingo is caught. And I think these Chris kills aren't as bad as it feels. I think he gets a bit of damage out. It's the equivalent of kind of spending your Uber and then just letting your medic die. You know, he's done his job. He's got his damage out, and it lays the foundation for the rest of the scouts and soldiers to start kind of reining in their damage and kills. But they will get the second point for free, basically, without any sort of supporting cast on second to really help them. The GlobalClan have to give it up, and Quack's even getting picked off at the door. That's not ideal, but they have got this Uber charge to maybe guarantee the defense.
It's maybe awkward though with one soldier down, and we see the space. The Liberty's been taken here. Bomo's taken down before the Uber can even come out. Bomb comes in. They're going to try and get in onto Dank.
Jay, he's got the skill stick out. This isn't 2014, my friend. You do not get free damage off that equalizer. He will go down, and they're still pressuring. Sure, they're 3 down, 3 what? Huh? We're pushing in. We've used Uber. We've got a better Uber, in theory, over on the side of Mama's boy, and they're just going to spend the rest of it to get out. Poor Chris, he was there. He was willing to die for that Uber.
Yeah, they stayed in for so long there, but eventually in that trade, they do manage to get their important players out. They got Medic out with Pocket Scout Taxi, but now we've seen before, GlobalClan are very, very happy to push out into second on Sunshine. They've had some success before, and again now they're going to bomb in aggressive. High-5 trading out 1-for-1 with Taz, but space is still being taken. The demo is only just here, and Chris is able to spam a couple of stickies over, and Jay, though, has got behind into the shutter. This could be nuclear. This could be massive. Jay just gets entirely behind and just cuts off the retreat completely. This has to be a round.
I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish over on GlobalClan. You can't just keep picking and plinking at the point. Maybe if there was the cap, you know, to win the round, but there's nothing really to kind of turn that sort of fight around. You need to find kills, you need to find advantage in flanks here, and nobody was doing it over on GlobalClan, and it just allowed Chris to rebuild his stickies up and go back in.
Well, the thing is as well, you have to be holding the doors as well. Like, it's the thing with any last push out is the main threat to you, number one, is a back cap, but number two, it's that kind of situation there where they're caught on the low ground. They can't push up to point onto the high ground where the entire rest of Mama's Boys team is.
They're just frozen.
But they're frozen, but they also can't retreat because Jay has got in from lower lobby. Because nobody was watching it. Their soldiers had pushed out on the flank, but nobody had cleared it. And I think he came in from either Valley or just from the point, but he manages to get behind and just cut off everybody on the retreat. Does about 500 damage in 2 rockets. And you just, that's the thing is, if you sit there for so long, you are just going to get boxed in and you just can't move. Like you say, you're just frozen.
It hurts the soul. Because it is a hard thing to do, especially on a Sunshine map, to kind of push out at this area. And it feels like there's certain areas that you can't really just even get on top of a player and, you know, keep him pinned down. It seems they have so many avenues to kind of get out. They've also got the health pack on the outside as well, whilst you're a bit disarmed with yours being back inside and you don't want to give up that ground again. They could have maybe gone in from lower and tried to kind of get back from that way. Over on GlobalClan, I think that was probably their best option afforded to them if they weren't going to make this second play out. But I think if they wanted to, though, they just need anybody to kind of take the flank, take the ground, and take a kill.
Yeah, well, they've had that tactical timeout now. Dank called that one. They need to change something, and Dank knows it. GlobalClan know it. So now is the time to see what has been changed. There's half the game left to play, half the game to see if they can turn this one around.
Nice.
Because
nice starting stickies from Dingo, but Chris brought back to hell. And Pie Heist jump in the sky from Quacks, wants to meet up with that soldier again, ends up on the butt end of a scout, and Dingo goes down early, and Chris is not feeling any sort of pressure this time. But okay,
Quacks!
Quacks! Way too early! Quacks is 6 men and possessed! And Dank, he's still gonna go down!
The salvage was there though. Quacks comes in behind. I think he was still stranded at the midpoint somewhere and just lands it onto his own valley and catches 3 players, none of them even looking in his direction. Fantastic salvage, getting all 3 of the frags they managed to get on that mid there, and that has turned this around. This would have been like a last whole disaster 4-1 down probably, but now they're able to get themselves set up at least on second. It's going to be a slight disadvantage. They're going to have to be careful.
Is anybody meeting Dank? Where is he? Okay, now that we're finally getting somebody healing. We're taking a long time.
50 disad.
Really. Yeah, that was a bit more than it really needed to be. As sure, Dank does respawn later, but it took a long time to actually get the overcharge kind of pumping away.
Yeah, I think it should do about 30 or so, but yeah, like you say, just not having the building in time. I guess the one plus they maybe have is that Mama's boys shouldn't know
No,
about that.
they should
They are
have
going to
respect
use
for
it
this.
anyway.
Oh, but
They're
we're
going to
in
go in regardless of the
How
dot push.
dare I? Yeah, they're straight on top of it, straight on top of Dank. They know exactly which door they want to take if you're a medic, and my god, they've got the confidence, the Uber surging through their bodies, surging through their blood, and surging through the point as they're already at last setting up a picnic, waiting for second.
That had been mentioned before about like these Uber pushes, particularly when we're talking about GlobalClan and like the lack of coordination and the potential, like, you know, there's not this grand game plan that's being followed. That Uber was the absolute textbook example of how you coordinate an Uber push, especially on a dot push when you know that they probably thought they were pushing in with what, 20 or 30 ad. There they were flying in. Dank goes down instantly. Everyone is landing on a key choke point, able to cut off anyone retreating, and they wipe everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't even like Dank was in an easy spot to grab as well.
Exactly.
He wasn't overextended. He was in the bunker, but they actually read and kind of predicted that this man is going to be standing in this spot and we need to get there as soon as possible. They attacked the territory and they found the medic.
And now this time around, it seems like it's more of the same for these mid-fight players getting caught out of position in and around the place from the rest of GlobalClan. 4 players falling, and now they're all back to the familiar position on their own last. These mids not been great from them. They've been kind of getting fractured apart, and they've not managed to have, you know, the coherent rotating blob that you normally like to see. And now they're paying the price because Dingo's already down on last. This is really rough now.
They haven't quite captured second point, though.
Dank gets caught in spawn by high five.
Okay, well, I definitely didn't expect that. I just turned the camera away, and usually when you've got the spawn on your side, how can you die? But I guess high five finds a way.
Taz behind is maybe a bit too late for this one because the Uber charge is already
health
in.
advantage
Sticky
alone.
spawn. The spawn shut at 2. They're going to try and rotate out from this right-hand side, and maybe this is going to be awkward now for this push, except the fact they're getting this all-important kill onto the demo again. Dank the pyro. The pyro medic off class.
Why?
Does nothing. And that's GG.
I felt like GlobalClan had it there, that they could have made like the fight back because they lost Jay pretty early in the little fight there. And they had more bodies actually shooting guns at that point. The Uber charge had been extended. But I don't know why we went for a pyro when there's 2 scouts up on the board. And they've got that sort of high ground as well.
Yeah, it was an awkward one. But again, well coordinated from the rest of the Mama's Boys team. Because again, it all starts with they catch that kill into Dingo, and then instantly there's bombs on spawn because they know at that point this is their best chance they're ever going to get to sack. They can't just wait around and wait for, you know, the whole bunker to be built on the last point where all the fortifications are there. They have to, you know, get in while they can, and the soldiers landing instantly on the spawn shutters, catching Dank, and at that point full Uber is out, and there's only one way that one's going to end, and it's going to end in a 5-1 victory. Which, I don't know, given the first 10 minutes of gameplay, like that's kind of shocking to me because I think GlobalClan were really in it for a while.
All the mistakes I'm seeing from Mama's Boy kind of chalk up to the category of like maybe overconfidence. And I mean, can we really blame them? They've literally got the blood of G6 players and whatnot, and minds kind of, you know, coursing through them. So I can understand this overguidance, this overstep from them. And they did taste a bit of humility a couple of times. I mean, I think they were genuinely shocked when they were met by the spawn trap on the couple of forward spawns. I mean, I did have to pick my own brain to think, when was the last time this happened to like a G6? And I don't think it happens many times. So GlobalClan just kind of mentoring them like, you guys can't keep, you know, you can't give these advantages. We're not that scared of these sorts of situations, at least. GlobalClan is a lot more of a complex thing. They have a multifaceted sort of issues on their hands, from issues from coordinations to Ubers to what they want to get accomplished during these Ubers, and then some is just individual decision making as well, which I don't know, maybe I just don't have that big NA 5-head brain to appreciate a pyro into 2 scouts at last with 5, you know, all your team is up, but you know, who am I to kind of bully or pick or kind of criticize? Let's look at the logs, Ben. Maybe the math will make sense to me.
Yeah, well, we've just had them flicking on screen for a little bit of time, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of average roll logs, except Dingo again did a lot of damage. But it was most of the scouts over on Mama's Boys again. We mentioned it a few times in the cast. Like Slemnish was doing fantastic work, and Bobo like on the flank had everyone's number. To be quite honest, it was really well played from the two scout duo, and obviously the rest of Mama's Boys. They were well coordinated. They felt locked in. They felt like, obviously first day of I guess first match at LAN sometimes is a bit of a wobble for some teams, but with like the RGL LAN, they're straight into the best of threes instantly. And I've not seen too much of a wobble here from Mama's Boys. I think they came in as number 1 seed, and given how they've played today, I'm not surprised that this is the best team coming out of RGL for this season, because these guys looked seriously good.
Oh, Ben, imagine a world where logs.tf had the same sort of capabilities as like a chess analyzer, and they could break it down to good move, bad move, excellent move, blunder.
You get the zigzagging line of like the evaluation.
Zigzagging line and all this, but... I think this is one of the examples of a high sort of rate of excellent plays and blunders. Like, I think there were times where GlobalClan were having these excellent moves, but they were just evened out and averaged out from the blunders. Harebrained, confusing, just absolutely dazzling blunders. But fortunately, these are ones that are usually the easiest to fix, because you'll be able to kind of even it out. All right, I guess this has been our first best of 3. We've still got another best of 3 coming up here on the Essentials TF stream, so you're not going to say goodbye to me and Ben anytime soon, and certainly not goodbye to J-Max. He's going to keep the stream probably running whilst we go to a little break, and then we're going to come back with more of our playoff bracket here in this RGL Philadelphia LAN.